Yo, your friend, your friend, your friend, your friend, your friend,
Are we on Hackman?
No, stab this way. Stab this way, man. Stab me. Stab.
very soon, about 2 weeks. 6 weeks. 6 weeks. 6 weeks? Yeah. So when the NBA season kind of ends and we got that gap with the playing. So you know what? Summer. Yeah, summer.
Welcome to the Field of Lives. Today's hypothesis, Sherry Ullman plus long-lasting hydration equals an iconic formula. Hypothesis confirmed. Sherry Ullman is the iconic scent of softness. The feel-good feeling of Jergens.
Kenny dropped a video discussing the title as Dear NBA, like a letter to the NBA, and a lot of the dialogue that's been going around so far in this season.
Can I rant for a little second? Because right now I'm really frustrated about the discourse surrounding our league right now. And the real simple solution to all of this is for me to close my phone. But that's just so much easier said than done. So there's been a lot of conversations around our league, especially since the All-Star break. And listen, I want to say this right here, right now. I love the NBA. I love basketball, but I really do love the NBA. But even as a lover of the NBA, a guy that fell in love with the league in 2003, has watched now 21, 22 seasons of the NBA, I understand it is very far from a perfect product.
Damn, you old Kenny. Damn, you old. Also, no disrespect to you, Kenny, but I don't like to listen to this. I'm a crackhead.
The NBA games start too late compared to the scheduled time. There are too many stoppages in play. I can recognize the negative aspects of our league. Hell, I just dropped a video about All-Star Weekend where I was telling you everything I hate about it. So I'm not one of those people that everything is perfect. But there are certain conversations that happen about our league that I just truly do not understand. And I feel like people are just repeating the same rhetoric that they've heard someone else say, like, yup, that's gotta be it. When the reality is, it's really not. And I think, I'm definitely not taking no shots because these guys are absolute legends. Everybody that I refer to as absolute legends. Some things that I would never be able to accomplish, really successful and all of that stuff. But I think a lot of this stems from some of the people we put on TV to talk about our sport, whether it be the inside the NBA guys, whether it be Draymond Green over all.
Kenny finally catching on. I've been trying to tell y'all this for like the past couple years now. A big part of the reason what's going on in the NBA is that the people who discuss the topic, they are cancerous to the community. Straight cancerous.
It feels like we just don't have a selection of on-camera media that says anything positive about the league. Again, this league is very far from not warranted criticism. You know, give the criticism, but it can't be the only thing that we talk about. It can't be the only thing we talk about. And I think the reason why I'm so frustrated with this is because I started the brand, this is not a plug or anything, name enjoy basketball, because some of these people, or some of the things when I turn on ESPN, or I turn on Fox Sports, or I turn on whatever, I watch these shows, or at least I used to watch these shows, and I'm like, are we watching the same thing? Are we watching this? Where are the people that genuinely love the game? This is the only sport of the major sports, the NFL, the MLB, hockey, hell, soccer, that the past players just look down on the current generation.
And it's been that way. Yeah, I'm not even joking, Jack. It's been that way for far too long. If we can go back to like the 90s, where Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain are just trashing the players in the 90s. Which is why I always find it so funny how people act as if they weren't, the criticism and complaints that people had now are not the same that was in the 90s. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. So I don't know why this is a thing where we want to sit here and be overly critical, trash the current era, and it's really truly in an attempt to preserve the previous era, wherever they're from. And then we kind of get to this point where like it's just become this repeat cycle. And then 20, 30 years later, we'll then talk high praise of an era of basketball that we completely trashed. I vividly remember, like, the way people talk about Kobe now is not how they talk about Kobe in real time. It's just not. It's not. The way that people discuss Shaq is not how they discuss Shaq in real time. Allen Iverson is not how they discuss Iverson in real time. It is just not. Definitely not when it comes to Iverson. Even when I remember, like, Barkley running around talking about, oh man, everybody just shoot three. When it comes to Curry and Clay and the Warriors, It's okay if they shoot threes, but everybody else can't shoot threes. In real time, Charles Barkley was trashing the Warriors for shooting threes, telling them how they can't win games that way, you can't win a championship that way, when they were dominating in 2015, 16, 17, 18, but now all of a sudden, it's okay if Curry and Clay shoot threes. Back then, it wasn't even okay for them to shoot either.
Current players just looking down on their peers, which just blows my mind. And you do got the occasional NBA old head that absolutely respects the game that it is right now. I love listening to Kevin Garnett talk about hoops because he is also critical when necessary, but he'll let you know so-and-so player is an absolute dog. Jason Tatum is an absolute dog, and I don't think that's just because he's a Boston legend. Jason Tatum's an absolute dog. Or I can turn on someone else talking about the Boston Celtics, and he's the softest superstar in the history of basketball.
Oh, shit!
About hoops are we
That's a Brandon Jennings shot!
That's why I love players like Allen Iverson, who doesn't do a lot of appearances, but every time you put a microphone in front of Allen Iverson, he is giving praises.
I think it's pretty ironic that the whole premise and purpose of Players Podcast and Player Ran Media is to prevent themselves or prevent the old guard of media to continue to exist. That was quite literally the exact same reason why Draymond said he wanted to start a podcast, new media, just for these players and their podcasts and all the things they want to say, but they're going to turn around and just be old media. They sound just like old media.
To the younger generation, Luka, Shea, Bron, they played against each other for years. So like, they just give all the amount of love, and I love that type of coverage. You can talk all the trash you want about Reggie Miller and the way he covers the game or him as an analyst, but damn it, he loves basketball. And I feel that when I listen to him talk about a game, I feel the same way about like Jamal Crawford, who hasn't done a ton of broadcast media, but I watch him cover a Knicks game. He's out there enjoying, like you can tell they have this love for the game and they're not these stuck-up, bitter old heads about the new generation. The reality is, things evolve. It always has evolved. Every single era of basketball is different than the last. That doesn't make this era any worse than any of the other ones. It is just so ridiculous to me. And one of my least favorite talking points that people have, and damn it, I've seen it on TV, I've heard it in the barbershop, when people talk about everybody playing the same way, blows my mind. You cannot convince me that the Boston Celtics, the Atlanta Hawks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Utah Jazz, the Minnesota Timberwolves all have the same style of basketball.
He's absolutely right. Absolutely right. And when people say that, it immediately lets me know, bro, you're not watching the sport at all. If you come to the conclusion that everyone plays the same, you're just not watching the sport. You're telling on yourself. It may result into, I guess, three-point shooting, but saying that the Memphis Grizzlies, Boston Celtics, Cleveland Cavaliers, OKC, Lakers, Denver Nuggets, there's no way, because we just watched the Nuggets and Lakers, I promise you there's not another game that you will turn on tonight that will look anywhere near close to what just occurred in that game. And this is not. You're not watching the game. You're going with the narratives that are being pushed. And the bigger part I have is not correcting these people. That's what J.J. Redick was actually there for on ESPN, why it was so refreshing to hear him talk about the sport, because not only would he defend current players, but he would correct immediately the ignorant statements that are being made by people on these platforms. You had Stephen A. Smith not comprehending the effective and efficiency of a Jokic post-up. The fact that J.J. Redick had to correct him on that is crazy.
How many games do you really watch? And it really goes on now. A guy like Draymond Green says, because damn it, you've been in the league for 15 years. You've been in the league for 15 years, and you play for a team that has a very unique style of play. But everybody plays the same. One of the things Draymond Green said over the All-Star break was, we talk about the homogenization of the NBA, how everybody's running the same play. Of course, he's talking about the pick and roll. The pick and roll has been dominating the league for 20 plus years. Basically since the triangle offense kind of died out after Tex Winter and the Chicago Bulls, six championships in 10 years, whatever, 8 years. The triangle offense kind of died, other than when like Phil Jackson was a part of the Knicks. And the pick and roll became king. And then eventually it evolved even more. Well, now the high pick and roll evolved the game, where there was times where it was James Harden or Trae Young or Luka Doncic running high screen and roll. You have two guys in the corner, and that's their style of play. And granted, teams did run that way, but this is a 30-team league. The way Luka plays, the way Trae plays, the way James Harden plays, every team can't play like that. You know why? Because they don't have the fucking dogs of a ball handler that can make that an efficient offense. So when Draymond Green talks about the homogenization of basketball, it blows my mind. This is a real stat. Let me go to my doc.
I know, right? Cursing from Kenny? Oh my goodness. That's when you know it's a real video.
My notes, because Y'all know I watch a lot of basketball, and I listen to a lot of broadcasts, and I listen to a lot of people that are way smarter than me talk about basketball. Here's your real stat. This is from this season. This season, the NBA is setting 65.4 ball screens per 100 possessions, which is the lowest average in the second spectrum era. The second spectrum goes through the last 12 years. It's not like we have a 50-year sample size. So Draymond Green is talking about the homogenization of basketball and everybody doing the same thing. Then that's the case from 12 years ago, where everybody says the league was peak. It is the lowest that it has been in 12 years. And I feel that when I watch these games.
This stuff in lactic does not smell like cupcakes. It doesn't smell like anything. It just works.
That's a crazy stat. And what's even crazier is that I think why people feel like the game is played the same is because of just the end result being a three-point shot. Because like we said, if you sit here and say that, bro, there's just no way, because everyone isn't running a whole bunch of pick and rolls. Yeah, like I was about to say, the Grizzlies quite literally don't run any pick and rolls. It's a lot of motion. It's a lot of off-ball movement. It's a lot of relocating. It's a lot of dribble penetration, relocating, and getting to where it needs to be. However, the irony of it is, back in the 90s, every team was running the same thing over and over again. Majority of the teams back then were just running post-ups. They literally changed the rules. They literally had an overwhelming set of rules changes because that's all that they were doing. They moved the three-point line closer to the basket because that's literally what all they were doing. They removed the illegal defense and allowed zone because that's all that they were doing. They put in a charging zone area. All they were doing was posting up. And people are going to sit here and watch, because I already know how YouTubers, especially when someone, the old heads, get a hold of this video. Y'all are going to sit here and say, oh, what do you mean by it? If we ran the same thing and everybody didn't like it in the 90s. Yeah, they didn't like it in the 90s, bro. There was criticism in the 90s and in the 80s. You don't know that because everybody just fawned over Michael Jordan. But as soon as Michael Jordan left, everybody was complaining about things because Jordan wasn't in the league. In the middle of the final, David Stern had to address rating problems. Imagine if we still have rating problems going so deep into the season, we're in the final still talking about ratings. That's how bad it was in 94.
I feel it. I'm watching 4 to 5 games a night, and I'm always seeing something different. Yes, the three-point ball is king. That is something that I cannot deny, but the way those three-pointers are generated objectively, it's just different. Some teams are doing it on ball screens. Some teams are doing it with dribble penetration kick out. Some teams are doing a dribble handoff. Some teams are running a high screen roll, hoping that you drop it so Jason Tatum shoot three. This league is as diverse as it ever has been. And you don't believe me? Well, we can go to the numbers, baby. Here's an article written by my guy, Mark Shayer, and he's a guy that I referenced on this channel before. Our NBA team's playing the same. This is from the beginning of the beginning of the season, November 21st, 2024. Now, here's one of the graphs. Percentage of time in each play style. And this stems from 2004 to 2025. And what you will see is, yes, this season, and as we continue to evolve, spot three-point shooting, or spot shooting in general, is higher than it was in 2004, 2005. Transition offense, that's the thing I want to talk about, is higher. But some things that were just not great watches is gone.
That's the other thing. In the 90s, the complaint was there was too much post-ups. Then in the 2000s, it was way too much ISO. So then they would get the label of the dead ball error. That's another thing that people don't remember either. I don't know why people don't remember. It literally just happened like 20 years ago. I be sitting here watching people discuss this shit as if there weren't complaints back then. I vividly remember in the early to mid-2000s, people were doing nothing but complaining about how much ISO it was. Everybody trying to be like Michael Jordan. It's a dead ball era. Everybody used to say the same thing. There's, actively speaking, significantly more handoffs now. That's another thing that they lied about. The shit that Jokic be doing is not anything new. They used to do that back in like the 60s and 70s with Kareem, Bill Russell, and Wilt when it came to like dribble handoffs or bigs. They decided to go away from that and just go straight to post-ups. So that's why the handoffs were just non-existent back then.
I listen, Michael Olowokandi getting a post touch is something I don't want to see in 2024. Who's the NBA equivalent? Alex Len getting a post touch for the Lakers?
Hey! No, I'm not about to say that. Don't be talking trash about my Laker legend, Alex Len.
There's something that I'm happy is cut out of basketball. So with it being lower, I think that's good for the game. And one of the things that we need to recognize here is this transition, because this transition frequency being higher now than it was 2014 to 2004 is one of the reasons why we do get so many spot-up three-point shots. The game is faster and defenses have to react faster, which means that if I'm getting back on defense, it's impossible to cover everything.
You know what's so crazy? In the 80s, they also used to say that the game was too fast and there was no defense being played in the 80s.
And because of that, I may give up an open three. That's the full thing. When you talk about teams playing the same, what is this?
God damn,
what is this? This right here shows you the percentage of teams' possessions and how they generate their offense. So, for example, the Golden State Warriors are #1 in points generated through a cut. When you watch the Warriors with their split action and everything, you see that. You see the same thing with the Denver Nuggets because Nikola Jokic is a passing wizard and he gets so much attention. Atlanta Hawks at the bottom of the list, you have teams like the 76ers or the Charlotte Hornets. You have teams like the Utah Jazz that because they don't have much individual on-ball creation, they get a lot of their points or a lot of their possessions in with it off screens, where you get handoffs in isolation, which makes sense if you watch the Boston Celtics. A lot of times it is Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown cooking their man, getting past the first defender, crashing the defense and kicking out to a three-pointer or going up for a finish. These numbers, if you're watching these games, it make a lot of sense. If you watch, let me get this on here. If you watch the Memphis Grizzlies, you recognize that this is the fastest team in basketball. They are dramatically different.
The other problem is that, unfortunately, all this information it doesn't exist in the 90s. People are just going off of their emotions and feelings.
And one thing I do every single offseason, I've been very candid about this, when the offseason hits, I still want my NBA fix, right? And what I usually do is I go back and watch old games, whether it be from, the latest I really go is the mid-90s because I can't do 6 pixels and try, is that Julius Erving? I can't do that. So I go mid-90s and I just watch random NBA games. And luckily for me, a lot of NBA games are just on YouTube. Full stop. You watch the full game. Hey, listen. Calm down. Don't be too loud. And if you want to go more recent, the last like 10 to 15 years are just on NBA League Pass. So like I can get a bunch of different eras of basketball, and I watch all of those eras of basketball. And guess what? I enjoy them all. I'm not one of those people that's going to compare the way the 90s played to the 2000s because I recognize the evolution is very important. Every single sport that we play. I'm not a huge football guy. I watch football. I care about the NFL, but I would definitely never create a YouTube channel about the NFL because I'm not that locked in. I tend to like to at least know a little bit of what I'm talking about when I be making videos and stuff, but I recognize that the game has evolved so much since when I was a kid where it felt like every single back, the running back was the most important player outside of the quarterback. Nowadays, you don't even draft running backs in the first couple rounds. They just get replacement guys, unless you have like a Saquon or something. You just get replacement guys to do everything. The game has evolved in, and I'll never see an old-timey player. I'll never see Peyton Manning like back in my day because they recognize that the game is always going to evolve. And I think that nostalgia is one of the most dangerous things when it comes to sport.
And we talked about this as well. How many times have I had to debunk old heads telling y'all things that they thought they saw back in the day? For example, that Scottie Pippen was the primary defender on Magic Johnson in the 1991 Finals, which isn't true. If you go back and rewatch it, what's crazy is they'll tell us to go back and rewatch it, and then I'll go back and rewatch it, and I'll come back and tell them what actually occurred. And so they get nostalgic based, oh my God, this is what actually happened. Now I go back and I'll rewatch it, and I'm like, no, it's not.
Whether it be through reading, or whether it be through TV or movies, nostalgia kills a lot of things. And I am very, very guilty of looking at things with my nostalgia lens because at the end of the day, you fall in love with something, and that's the thing you want to see all the time. 2003 was like the dead era of basketball. It's right when Bron was coming in. This is post Michael Jordan. Things were not good for the NBA, but when I became a fan, that's what I loved, right? Because people are very nostalgic about their eras of basketball, they use that as a way to say the league is not the same, basketball is not the same, and we need to get back to this. People that say that the league has lost creativity, I swear to you, I question if they actually watched the game when they said they watched the game.
This is easily the most creative basketball ever, and it's not even close. So when people say that, also it's kind of crazy. And I do believe, strangely enough, I'm an advocate of a lot of players back in the day could actually do a lot of things that's happening right now, but due to the lack of creativity, from a lot of coaches back then, it's the reason why we don't get the versions of players that we, in all honesty, could have received. Steve Nash spoke about this, the lack of creativeness from a point guard perspective as a scorer really put a cap on a lot of these players. It's not that they couldn't do it.
Read, write, or anything. Guess how tall he was.
Like, look how good this item shop is. Hold on. The first part is all ass. How do I tell you?
Cause guess how
Look at this shit. This skin is trash for 1,500.
Guess how tall he was.
Serenity. Guess who's in the item shop? Guess who's in the item shop? No, another person. Cody Rhodes.
Class. Guess how tall this nigga was in my favorite grade class.
Look at this, Dede. Otis, right? Otis, art.
Joe Terra. That's not worth. Ruby. Hold on, go on. Soccer skin. Definitely not worth it. Recon specialist is alright. Surflet, still the best. Reaper, you don't need a pick something like that.
This is a scam. Could use the main skin too. And look at the other styles.
Nah, the other styles are ass. That's the
glasses.
That's the one Amplify me.
The glasses.
You know who Amplify is?
No.
The nigga who be in all the Kiwis and Formula's tournaments. He got like 50 wins.
Oh, this regular.
That was just the one.
Oh, this the one you was talking about. This style. You said with the little black hat and the black crop top.
No, I said blue crop top, red hat. The other one's still better.
Ooh, they got some good dances.
The rest is bullshit, man.
No. This the pickaxe I was talking about. Yes, I do.
Skin's better.
Ooh.
Recon, nice. You got that skin off sweaty. Now go down, you got the Alex skin. Oh, damn. That Alex skin is expensive.
Where?
The one right there, you just
This?
No Kuna.
That's not. You said that Alex skin.
Alex.
It's not Alex.
Nigga, the Alex that fits skin, the one that he be meaning.
Oh. This shit ass. I don't know why you made this shit. Shit, but how do I tell you?
Yeah, this shit bullshit.
Oh, I Alright, so I'm gonna let you pick. What do you want me to get? What do you want me to get, gang?
It's either that one skin or
Pick.
Surflet. Definitely not that one.
Hold on. Any?
Ain't no damn easy money mo. You started with one that's going to end up being that one. Now you know it's
Money? Mo? Catch? A tiger? Buy? His toe? If he holler, let him go. Any? Many? Mighty? Mo?
you know what you're doing, whichever one you start with.
Alright, pick one.
Right now, we look at those same exact stats.
That's the normal stock of those guys' ass.
Right nowadays, come to frequency, 31% of shots
Ooh.
are coming in the rim, which is the exact same as
Easy for looking at.
down to the decimal point. The same amount of rim pressure we have today is what they had in 2000.
So the all
Surface,
50 to 30%. And that 20% went from long, the longest are all the way down
Yeah,
to
you admiring this skin, don't go admiring Surflet.
from 18%.
Well, just look at that shit up close. Just vision it with any pickaxe other than Icebreaker.
What? What?
Hardly hitter just go look too little in his hands. Vision don't look good with shit. Fucking. What else pickaxes dog got?
You got driver, don't you?
Driver barely looks good with that. I got this shit.
You got Star Wars.
This that studding pickaxe. I don't got Star Wars.
we take 39%.
Yeah.
39% of our shots. So these numbers on those long mid-range.
You got candy.
Candy axe, that shit don't look good with it.
I'll wear icebreaker with nearly all my combos. That, Star Wars, cause.
Now just visit that other skin with icebreaker.
Alright, and now Surfwood.
That shit is ass. We could go look up close on Surfwood versus skin. This bitch looks like an alien, folk. Look at this shit.
It's not about look, it's about how sweaty it is.
I'm finna crash out.
Alright,
See, that's your
the
damn
other
problem.
The other one then. Damn.
But imagine just,
You told me to make a decision, but you want this one so bad.
but just, what if tomorrow fucking everything come back? Literal everything. Don't that happen to you when you spend your V-Bucks though? Keep it a buck. Bro, I've been waiting on that one skin though.
What? Can of water?
Bro, stop playing with me, folks. Oh, fucking.
Charlie D'Amelio. Like Spice.
Hell no, that shit ass. Only thing good on that is the butt. I got my mic going on live.
Dumbass.
I gotta get some clips. And shit. Oh, I know what probably go good right now.